failed attempts to have their issues resolved. These matters range from safety concerns, fair price setting and the alleged impounding of their vehicles. The representative's chairperson Henry Matebula says their previous attempts to get the Transport Department to address their issues have failed. Matebula says they will be giving officials 7 days to respond to their demands.
2 months down the line, we were trying to check what will be the process, what is happening, because we're not getting any communication and then we're not getting any responses. I had to call the chairperson of the portfolio committee, Gregory Shiman. Then he said he did not see the complaint. We had to resend the complaint in April to him.
To the courts now, sentencing in the case of Pete Sarasimiao, who pleaded guilty to killing 6-year-old Amantle Samane, has been postponed to the 1st of September. The Johannesburg High Court heard final arguments in that matter today. Simiao was arrested in October last year and entered into a guilty plea, a move the defence says shows remorse. But the state argues that the crime was cruel, planned and had devastating consequences for the family, factors it says warrant a harsh sentence. Amantle disappeared from her Orlando West home in October last year. Her body was then found in Simiao's home in Orlando East just days later. Earlier today, Amantle's mother, Ntombi Samane, gave a tearful victim impact statement expressing the family's pain.
Hear the cry of the child, or when the child is crying outside, I get agitated and I miss her so much. It gave me that hatred, more especially towards foreigners.
Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie says he has nothing to apologize for as a storm swirls over alleged offensive posts on his social media. McKenzie says a proper analysis will show that he was commenting on the quotes and remarks of others and that he would never direct racial slurs at anyone. McKenzie, who's also the Sports, Arts and Culture Minister, says he has consulted with his lawyer to respond to the investigation opened by the SA Human Rights Commission. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
In a regular briefing to party supporters last night, Gayton McKenzie again reiterated that selective social media posts have been used to create a false narrative that he is racist.
I will not apologize because I'm not a racist. I've not said racist things. I will explain everything that was said there.
McKenzie also lashed out at the Human Rights Commission, accusing it of issuing media statements on its planned probe before the correspondence reached him. He's also questioned why he's being probed for alleged xenophobic conduct and says he's ready to meet with the Commission.
The thing they say, we're going to break it down for you in the Equality Court, and you'll see at the end of the day, I will come out here victorious out of this whole thing.
McKenzie says he will not be forced to resign from his ministerial job. Neither will he be forced to issue an apology to hold on to the role. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And nearly 400 people have been killed in torrential monsoon rains in Pakistan. A changing climate has made residents of northern Pakistan more vulnerable to sudden heavy rain. The National Disaster Management Authority says 356 people were killed in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa alone, an area bordering Afghanistan. In total, the NDMA added that 706 Pakistanis have died since June 26th due to this monsoon, which is expected to last until mid-September. Gold is trading at $3,338.04 an ounce. The rand is at 17.62 to the dollar, 23.82 to the pound, 20.58 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $66.20 a barrel.
In the Devland area, we still have those roadworks on the Golden Highway. This is between the N1 and Union Avenue, slowing down traffic. Also, in the Illiondale Kempton Park area, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on Modderfontein Road between Parklands and Zurfontein Road. And look out for those faulty traffic lights in Alex at Marlborough Drive and Far East Bank.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 23 and 24 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the South African National Taxi Council is working with police to ensure those responsible for the murder of an e-hailing driver in Mabotja Mall, Soweto last week are brought to book.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Gauteng's greatest awards at 702 and Yoko. Let's celebrate excellence, one vote at a time. Go to primediaplus.com now to vote for the finalist that makes Gauteng feel like home.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Eight minutes after 1 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. Ooh, apologies. I accidentally turned my own mic off. Welcome to 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. On this Tuesday, the 12th of August, we've got a jam-packed show coming up for all of you. First off, we're going to be asking all of you a simple question. What has the president been silent on that you would like to hear him speak on? Simple. What has the president been silent on that you feel he should be saying something about? It can be a tiny case. It can be a major issue that you feel is not being addressed by the president. Then we're franchising your future again with Cash Converters. Don't worry if you missed the first episode where you get to find out all about the Cash Converters business. primediaplus.com for the first one. Today, we're joined by Nicole Thompson, Group Franchise Sales and Marketing Director at Cash Converters Southern Africa. Then our tech feature, we're going to talk about the importance of digital skills development, particularly in AI. We'll be joined by Professor Kehlan Govu, Vice Chancellor at the Vaal University of Technology. The second hour of the show, it is our series edition on hashtag FemEffect with Femagene. And we're going to be talking in this third episode about profiling Fifi Peters, who is a senior anchor at CNBC Africa and host of SA FM Market Update. And then we wrap up with our car feature. We'll be joined by Sumari Graber, co-founder of Naked Insurance, as we talk about car balloon payments. What does it mean and what are the consequences of having balloon payments on your car? So get in touch with us. Give us a call, 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702, using the hashtag 702 Afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
South Africa is so busy with so many issues and challenges at the moment. And there was the national dialogue that took place, but amidst that, there are so many other issues that the country is going through and experiencing. There are so many challenges that we are facing as a nation, yet we feel that the president has been quiet on them. So I'd like to hear from all of you and give us a call on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. What are these issues that you feel the president should be speaking on but has not? So I'm going to name one issue which I've shared with all of you prior that I've had an experience on, and that is the taxi drivers. the issue of the taxi association. I mean, I saw an interview, I think it was on Newsroom Africa, where they were saying that it's simple. All of you, if you're carrying a passenger in your vehicle with you, you have to explain to us why it is you're taking away our business. I saw a woman on TikTok who was sharing her experience to say she does not understand why she is being forced by taxi drivers when she's got 2 children and her groceries to not just pay her 15 Rand seat, she must pay 2 other 15 Rand seats, as opposed to taking an Uber to get to her house while she's carrying a baby. That is very, very confusing that we have a taxi association in this country where they are above the law, and we've been okay with them being above the law. But there are many other issues that our president has been quiet on. And again, feel free, maybe you have not heard it yourself and maybe the president did speak on it. But feel free to share where you like. Relebogile, I wish I would hear the president speak on this issue. One person, Sarah in Olivedale, says, Relebogile, I'd like the president to admit to all corruption going on in the government and municipalities. Sarah in Olivedale. Another one says, I am curious about his silence on who killed Babita Dokaran. We are not interested in who pulled the trigger. We need to know who paid for the bullet. That is from Roy Maharaj from Port St. John's. Another message that comes through says, Relebogile and team, the president has been quiet about all the illegal immigrants, MECs and municipalities who are involved in corruption, consequence or lack thereof, and unruly taxi drivers. Relebogile, the immigration issue is definitely an issue the president is totally blue ticking us on. We are, in fact, called xenophobic when we raise this boiling issue. Who? Relebogile, I believe the president has been silent about when he will be actioning the Zondo Commission recommendations, as well as proactively addressing unqualified cadre deployment through employing our qualified youth. These 2 actions can bolster the confidence and economy greatly. He must just start to be the country's president instead of only the president of the ANC, and must learn to separate the 2 irrespective of what the ANC choir says. This is from Peter. There are many, many issues that we are facing. I mean, there's been silence on the use of the K word. The fact that the K word was trending on social media for a good 2 to 3 days. Yet, zip, blue tick, left on red. And granted, at the National Dialogue, what was it that the president said? He said he doesn't know why poor people are poor. What is it? Something along those lines. He doesn't know why poor people are poor. So for all of you that are poor, tell us why you are poor. Why are you poor? A person says, remember 2020 Powerball draw numbers and the scams going around the Ituba scamming citizens? That is one of the listeners. I recall it was when the numbers were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, something along those lines. And 20 people won. Yeah, it was like 100 million. Everybody got around 5.6 million. I remember that one, right? 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
This idea that private car owners are now being forcibly stopped by taxi operators from having passengers in their car because the taxis believe those are commuters who should be paying them to get from A to Z and shouldn't be getting that ride for free in your car. This is the thinking we are dealing with when it comes to the taxi associations. And I've long been saying we keep ignoring this problem and it's not going to go away.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Did you know that the CSIR International Convention Center has over 40 years' experience in hosting international, local, and national business events? Located on a tranquil campus in Pretoria East, within the knowledge hub and science diplomacy capital, the city of Tshwane. This fit-for-purpose convention center is ideal for your association, congress, or other business events. For more information, visit csiricc.co.za, the CSIR International Convention Center, where smart minds meet.
My friend always says, not my problem, bro. But what if it was your sister, your mother, your daughter? Gender-based violence is everyone's problem. And good men don't look away. If you see abuse, don't be silent. Report it. Call the SA Police on 10111 or the GBVF Command Center on 0800 428 428. Strong men protect. Strong women stand up. Together, we can end gender-based violence and femicide. Break the vicious cycle. Act now. A message from Government Communications, the GCIS.
Dear Journal, day 3049 of trying to be an adult. I still haven't bought a recycling bin, so there's a mountain of cans in my kitchen that could collapse at any moment. Anyway, what's that saying about your home being a reflection of your mental state?
Got evicted from the family home? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja.
18 minutes after 1 o'clock. Franchise your future on Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, is brought to you by Cash Converters. Take charge of your financial future. Start your franchise journey with Cash Converters on 702. Now, franchise your future with courage, vision, and the drive to build something that lasts. Each week on 702, we're exploring how franchising empowers South Africans to take control of their future, unlock opportunities, and turn ambition into lasting impact. Now, we had our first conversation last week. You can go to primemediaplus.com to find out all about the Cash Converters business. Nicole Thompson, Group Franchise Sales and Marketing Director at Cash Converters Southern Africa, joins us to share how franchising is actually creating new opportunities, driving economic empowerment, and helping more people write their own success stories. And if you're ready to take that first step, Cash Converters is giving away 10,000 Rand to help kickstart your journey to franchise your future. Enter now at primemediaplus.com and tell us why you want to open a franchise. Franchise your future on Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, brought to you by Cash Converters on 702. And she's right here in studio with us. Nicole, how are you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I mean, this is quite a big deal, the concept of franchising. A lot of entrepreneurs go that route. So how exactly does franchising contribute to economic empowerment and job creation in South Africa's very unique socio-economic landscape?
It's such a great question because from our perspective as franchisors, we really believe in franchising in terms of what it offers South Africa and the growth of the economy, job creation, employment, adding back to the fiscus. There's huge amounts of positive that comes out of it, whether it's a Cash Converters franchise or any of the other 800-odd franchise systems across the country. We'd really encourage people to consider it, particularly those of us who'd like to own our own businesses.
Okay, so then what exactly makes franchising a more secure and sustainable business model compared to just starting your own business from scratch?
The success rate is completely inverted in terms of 8 out of 10 franchises will generally be successful versus 2 out of 10 non-franchise businesses. The key reason for that is it's a proven recipe. It's an existing business model. In our instance, we've got 30 years locally and 40 years globally. So really, you're being asked to follow a recipe and bake the cake of the franchise that you've bought into. There should be ongoing support structure, training for you and your staff over the duration of your life cycle with the franchise you buy into.
So then, in terms of those key characteristics of a successful franchisee in South Africa, what are they?
So I'm going to start with the fact that we're talking to you at the back end of Women's Month. We love female franchisees. I may be biased, but women do a really good job. We are big on attention to detail. We're great with relationships. We have high EQ. We're good at multitasking. So I'd love to see more women starting their own journeys in any sort of business operation. You're also looking for a dynamic individual, someone who is willing to follow the recipe of a franchise business model, but not afraid to take the plunge of starting their own business. You also want someone who wants to give back to their community, someone who would like to establish something in their environment.
So if we are then to see, because for somebody to make this commitment, how exactly can then the franchisors ensure that they are truly empowering franchisees and not just expanding their footprint?
It's a fantastic question. There are lots of horror stories around franchising gone wrong. So I would encourage everybody to really do your research, read the disclosure document, make sure you've actually understood the business model you're buying into, speak to existing franchisees, spend time in the existing stores of the brand you're looking to buy into, read the franchise agreement. It's strange to have to say that. It's such an important legal document, but really understand what you're getting yourself into. And I think it's really a culture fit. So do you feel that you and your franchisor could build a long-term sustainable relationship together? Do you have common values? Is there mutual symbiosis? Are they looking to offer you ongoing support and training, or is it a 2-week crash course and they'll speak to you again at the end of your franchise term?
Or when they're coming to collect royalties. Yes,
exactly.
So what role then can franchising play in addressing the very big inequality that we're facing in South Africa, but also promoting inclusive economic participation in South Africa?
It's something we as a brand are deeply passionate about. Our CEO and one of the co-founders is on the board of the Franchise Association of Southern Africa. Purely for that reason, he is so passionate about franchising. As a Cash Converters head office group, we believe in it. It is the way for one person to significantly change the destination of their family, to update the balance sheet, to really build something that can be handed down through the next generations, to row your own canoe, I suppose. It's the chance to really set sail on an entirely different course. And it benefits the communities that our franchisees operate in. You're employing local people, you're giving back to the local community, you'll be looking to get involved with local marketing efforts. The positives are just endless, and it's a more instant win than maybe a big corporate position may well be, because you're building a career versus starting something that generates profit and good growth for you and your family and your community from day one.
So final thoughts for all of our listeners?
I would love you to consider franchising. As I said, I'd love to speak to some more women on the back of Women's Month. Do your due diligence, read everything, speak to lots of people, but really consider it as an exciting future, a great business opportunity, and a chance to change the course of the lives of the people you employ.
Nicole Thompson, everybody, thank you so much for your time. Group Franchise Sales and Marketing Director at Cash Converters Southern Africa. Now own a Cash Converters franchise today. With 30 years of local and 40 years of global experience, Cash Converters is a trusted franchise brand. Their proven model offers 3 income streams. That's buying and selling secondhand goods, secured lending and unsecured lending as well. And if you're ready to take that first step, Cash Converters is giving away 10,000 Rand to help kickstart your journey to franchise your future. Enter now at primemediaplus.com and say why you want to open a franchise. Find financial freedom, join Cash Converters, and make life happen.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja.
Lines are always open
on 011
883
0702.
25 minutes after 1 o'clock, and we continue to hear from all of you and what the president has been silent on. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Some of your messages are coming through on our voice notes as well as on social media. Let's play some voice notes.
Hi, Relebogile. Great topic. I think the one thing that I would like to hear the president discuss sooner than later, and for negative or positive, is this whole concept of Cape independence. We don't want a divided country. And what does he have to say to the people that are proposing this, and what's his comeback to that, and how does he reassure the country that that is something that may or may never happen? There's too much silence
and they never bring these things up. I haven't heard him discuss this thing once. So I'd love to hear him talk about that.
That's a big one. That is a big one. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm in two minds about certain things. There's certain things that I do think the president should ghost us on, because if it's not even, yo guys, has the president ever said anything about what's that place? Where only Orania. Is it Orania? Has he ever spoken about it? Now, there's a part of me that sometimes feels like you don't need to validate everything with a response, especially if it's a non-issue. I don't believe that there are parts of South Africa that are going to be able to be independent and then have their own currency and. But at the same time, I kind of want to know what the president would like to say on some of those issues. More of your WhatsApp messages. One says, anonymous from Bronco Spade says, the president has been silent on the smart city, bullet train, and how old Tintswalo is. Guys, did we forget about this Tintswalo thing? Anonymous from Bronco Spade. Mr. President is not volume enough and shows embarrassment about what General Mkwanazi has revealed. Karabo, what has the president been silent on that you're like, I've never heard him speak about this?
The taxi and the Uber issue is serious because it's happening everywhere, every mall. My madam, when she goes shopping and she has to catch an Uber, she calls me all the time. I'm struggling to catch an Uber. I'm struggling to catch an Uber. And then we all panic because people are just bullies. And those other taxi owners, minibus taxi owners to be specific.
Nah.
And they just allow onto themselves, and things should start happening.
Somebody says, Relebogile, for the president to say, why are so many people living in abject poverty is like a mosquito biting us and asking, why are we getting malaria? Mr. President is quiet about the problem of the Constitution regarding immigrants' rights whilst they have rights in their own countries, as well as the non-paying tenants who cannot be evicted and the property owners are expected to pay their water and electricity. That's from KB in Kensington. Relebogile, Ramaphosa is deliberately silent on illegal immigration because this problem largely affects poor black people. My heart goes out to all victims of crimes committed by people who are not supposed to be in the country, especially the little Soweto girl who was raped and killed by a Mozambican illegal immigrant. Portfolio Committee on Correctional Services say over 50% of prison population comprises of foreigners in some of our facilities. That is nightmarish. Now, I saw somebody, Karaba, that was saying that we need to send all these prisoners back to their home countries. How do you do that when our borders are still porous? Because what's stopping their countries, it's not guaranteed that they're going to put them in prison that side.
Yes.
So what's going to stop them from coming back because our borders are porous?
It's a catch-22 situation because when we imprison them here, they're still spending our tax money because we have to feed them in prison. And then if we send them or deport them, next week they're back.
So right now, for me, the lesser evil is use our taxpayers' money to imprison them. Then we at least know they're locked up. But at the same time, you see problems.
We could be using that money for something else.
Right?
Yes.
We literally could. We continue with your calls and your voice notes and your messages. When we come back, it's 1:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. Taxi Association Santaco says it is adopting a zero-tolerance approach to violence involving its members. Its president, Motlhabane Tsebe, says from now, members found to be guilty of any violence will be expelled. He was speaking at a media briefing in Johannesburg this afternoon to address issues and the allegations of a war with e-hailing drivers. Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie says he has nothing to apologize 2024 as a storm swells over alleged offensive posts on his social media platforms. McKenzie says a proper analysis will show that he was commenting on the quotes and remarks of others and that he would never direct racial slurs at anyone. McKenzie says he has consulted with his lawyer to respond to the investigation, which has been opened by the South African Human Rights Commission. And the Gauteng Education Department has taken steps to enhance security around two schools in Relebogile in the west of Johannesburg. This after the principal of Hoërskool Relebogile sustained a stab wound on the hand while trying to destabilize clashes. A fight broke out between learners from Westridge High School and Hoërskool Relebogile on Friday. Those are the headlines, this EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage, not looking too bad on our roads. No accidents or major delays have been reported. However, there's a slight delay leaving the Joburg CBD. That's on the M2 westbound approaching Main Reef Road. Traffic lights not working in Edenville, Motorfontein Road and Van Riebeck. There's also faulty traffic lights in Randburg at Malibongo Drive and Mahogany. Traffic lights also not working in Alex at Marlborough Drive and Far East Bank. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
It's time to eat, dance, and celebrate. The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star, is serving up 2 days of world-class entertainment from international acts to South Africa's finest artists, alongside culinary masterpieces from the best local chefs. Browse fashion and art, take part in live cooking demos, and soak up the festival's electric atmosphere. Saturday, the 20th of September, is for you and your crew. Sunday, the 21st of September, is for the family picnic vibes. DSTV is turning 30, and you're invited to the party. One ticket, endless experiences. Tickets at Ticketmaster. More on deliciousfestival.com.
It took patience, perseverance, and audacity to get my first call-up and win with the Bokke. And we did it together. That's why I, Dion Free, partnered with African Bank so I can win big with a 60-month fixed deposit. Patience brings results. Join the bank that backs you. Get a 12.8% return at expiry on your investment. Visit africanbank.co.za or a branch for assistance. African Bank, audacity to believe. African Bank is a licensed financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank, brings the spirit of Ubuntu to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit from the 29th to the 31st of August. Experience thrilling track drives, 4x4 adventures, drifting, supercar hot laps, and F1 demos. Get your tickets on Howler and use the promo code RADIO for a special discount. The Festival of Motoring, the power of new.
Franchise your future with the vision to invest, the mindset to follow a proven system, and the drive to grow something of your own. Meet the minds behind smart investments and proven franchise success on Franchise Your Future with me, Relebogile Mabotja, brought to you by Cash Converters on 702. Plus, you could win 10,000 Rand to kickstart your journey to franchise your future. Head primemediaplus.com now. That's primemediaplus.com. Then, every Tuesday from 1 p.m., catch Franchise Your Future on 702 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, brought to you by Cash Converters. Your money, your momentum on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Your voice.
Your life.
Your afternoon radio.
On 702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabotja.
25 minutes to 2 o'clock, and we continue our conversation around some of the issues that we feel that our president has been too quiet on, and a couple of them have come through. I brought up the taxi issue, so did my colleague Karabojali, in terms of the Taxi Association and how they are basically policing us and are a law. They've given themselves the powers to say who must do what. They confiscate your keys. I had that experience while driving with my family, but I absolutely refused to hand over the keys, where they threatened to kill me, and they blocked the road with 4 other taxis while I was driving my cousin's Quantum. And I made it clear to them when they said, "How do we know you're not stealing our business?" My response, Abel, do you remember what I said? Do you remember? I said, "Hey, where have you seen a taxi driver who looks like me?" Like where? Huh? 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Anonymous in Josie. Hi, Anonymous.
Hey, how are you, Relebogile, man? I'm a Uber driver, man, not by choice. Hey, I was forced. I lost my job, and we are under pressure every day. I don't know if I'm gonna return home every night. But anyway, what I wanted to comment on, man. Hey, last week I was almost in a heavy thing at the Eastgate Mall. So I don't know if I was right or I was wrong. Picked up the client at the Shell garage. And taxi drivers just started chasing me. And I had to, luckily the client was in the car already, so me and her took off. It was hectic. Luckily we got away. We got away, but not a pleasant job, eh? Not a pleasant job,
So
really.
did they say why they were chasing you?
Listen, this is the thing. I didn't even want to stop. Do you understand? I felt like I could bump him because why are you in the road in the first place? Do you understand? Why are you chasing me in the first place? I was panicking because I didn't want to be in a situation. I just thought, like, in the beginning I wanted to call the client to ask her, listen, I know that you guys we picking up normally at Woolworths,
Yes.
but it was outside the mall at the Shell.
Yes.
So she said, the security said it's fine for her to request from the Shell. It's not inside the mall.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, it's
And
fine.
I know that
So-
Shell that you're talking about, yeah.
Yes. So what happened was, so I still said to her, because I have a code on my just to confirm that I'm the right driver and you're the right passenger. So she got in and she said, yes, here they coming. And I saw one coming from the right, one from, and I just said, no, God, thank God we got away there, but panicking, stressing. I really don't know, man. I just feel like people need to have a choice. Like I want to have an Uber. I mean, even in the morning, in the morning, last week on Friday, 5:30, I start my shift. There was guys walking in the streets, mugging somebody, and he came to me. He said, "Hey, you know what? Just get out of the area." Somebody requested. I went, and they came out like they requested, but they came with guns. They took everything I had. You get what I'm saying? So it's just not safe, man. It's an old uncle also, and I was like, wow. So you don't know. You just don't know if you're gonna be safe, if you're gonna return home safe.
Yo, thank you.
Yeah, that's my story.
Thank you, Anonymous. And I'm so sorry that you're going through that. I mean, I can hear the part about e-hailing services need to be regulated. I think that's a separate conversation, and I'll tell you why. Who are you, as the Taxi Association, to come and try to dictate to me what I must do with my money? Like, who are you? Who are you? And let us remember that taxis are not public transport. They are privately owned businesses. They're not public transport. Unless somewhere there are people in government who own taxis as well. Hey? Because I'm wondering, why are we so quiet? Why are we quiet on this issue? We are way too silent, Mr. President, Minister of Transport. We are too quiet on this issue. Why? What is the benefit for this dysfunction for people who need to be getting home safely or need to be having jobs, like the poor driver that was murdered? Like, Benny in Bromfontein, go ahead.
A simple thing. If you want to teach this tax called taxi drivers a lesson, once they confiscate your keys, if you have a tracker, call your tracker and say your car is being hijacked because you did not give authority for the guys to drive your car. It happens to me one Saturday morning we were going to the funeral, and I had to pick somebody somewhere. And they saw me, and then they started coming after me and chased me and stuff like that. And they confiscated the key. Then what I did, I called my checker, and then to say my car has been hijacked.
Good for you.
They activated the search, and those guys were arrested. Then I said they wanted to plead with me to drop the
charges.
Yes, the charges, and I refused. They're stupid. They are serving 15 years now for hijacking.
Nice. I actually saw somebody say you must do that. That when they try to take your keys, because now they say you must pay, is that call your tracker. So the way I was able to get out of my situation, because the SAPS, the officer himself called me and said I must get out the car and talk to him, saying, but we know the rules. And I said, Mr. Officer, I recognize your uniform from K53. This man I don't recognize. He's nowhere in K53. Where are the taxi associations in K53? So yes, I'm with you completely. Thank you so much, Benny. Call your tracking companies and report your vehicle stolen. If they do that, let them all be arrested. And I have to be honest, I was not mad about the taxis being burnt. I mean, I'm not in any way going to encourage violence, but hey, I'm not mad about the response of the community. TT in Pretoria, hi, go ahead. How, TT? TT. Yo, okay, more of your messages. Good afternoon, Relebogile. Please don't start with me on the president. He has been quiet on the following: crime, GBV, corruption, the economy, illegal mining, violence on e-hailing services. Our Minister Gayton McKenzie, SANDF chief, and many more. That's from Gayton Mabotja. For the president has never given the age limit if ministers need to go on pension like he did with ordinary workers to leave at 60 years to 65 years while you still have the strength to earn a salary. But we see ministers who are above 70 years old sleeping in parliament. Why? Why is the question being asked? T-Man, go ahead, T-Man.
Hi, Relebogile.
Yes.
And I'd like to greet the 702 listeners. The first-time caller.
Welcome.
I've been following you guys in a lot of years. I'm hearing you guys talking about the e-hailing industry.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening is that I'm not hearing you mentioning, are you aware that in the Vaal area, we're not allowed to be there? Van der Bijl Park, Vereeniging, you can't pick up, you can't even go to drop off. Because I'm from the West Rand. When you go there, the taxi guys, they literally request you. The meter taxi and the taxi guys, they literally request you. And when they catch you, you have to pay a fine of 4.5. So we had a lot of experience. I mean, I had one guy that I told him not to go over there, but he decided to go. And as he was going, because he's coming from the Kruger's side, and then he got a trip that was taking him to Southgate. And little did he know that these people actually requested him, and they demanded a 1.5, and they kept him there the whole day. So this kind of bullying, and it's there even in the Vaal area. And if nothing is being done, it's gonna spread. And I'm scared that when this thing spreads, then it's gonna be out of control, where nobody's gonna do anything about it.
I hear you completely, T-Man. I mean, I was not aware that e-hailing services are not allowed in Vaal, because when I hear not allowed, I would assume it's by law, but it's people who have decided to make laws for themselves.
Exactly. So, I mean, like, for example, do you know that even in Mamelodi, it's a problem?
Sure. I was not aware, but I do know that there are areas where Uber drivers now refuse to go due to safety issues and their lives being threatened. But thank you so much, T-Man. I'm going to leave it there. Natasha, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my question is, why are we allowing the taxi associations to be a mafia that is dictating to the government what must be done, dictating to us taxpayers how we must spend our money, whether we can call an Uber or not? Surely they must be subject to the law as we are.
So I think here's the challenge, Natasha. I don't think it's that the public are allowing. I think, number one, it is a supply and demand issue where if certain people do not have other options for public transport, in inverted commas, because it's not public, as in there aren't bus services that go everywhere. But secondly, Natasha, they threaten people's lives with weapons. They threaten people's lives where they pull you out. Like you'll be going to try and pick up your own family member at Mabotja Mall and they threaten your life. There's a woman who came on TikTok sharing that her father was harassed by taxi drivers trying to pick her up at the mall.
Why is the government or the police force allowing it? Why are the taxi associations not bound by the same legal laws that we are? And this has been going on for years.
Can I tell you my assumption? And this is, I've said this before. When people are benefiting from dysfunction, the appetite to make things functional is non-existent because now they no longer benefit.
Exactly. So everyone in our government.
Oh, Natasha, I see we have lost you, but I think we've got the gist of it. And it's a pity. It is an absolute pity because these rules do not apply to people that are not black. Have you ever seen a white family, and I stand to be corrected, an Indian family that is being harassed by taxi drivers? It's disgusting. As for Santako, who I've dealt with you directly and personally, I will never, let me make clear, never, I will never be bullied by any of you. You tried the first time and it will not happen again. At the same time, I understand I'm in a privileged enough position to be able to do so. Other people are not. You can threaten me with guns and knives, say you're going to kill my family. I will never, out of principle. But it's unacceptable. Mr. President, you are too quiet.
Do you know what's hiding behind colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front of package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front of package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org by 30 September.
62 million rand in total estimated Powerball and Powerball Plus jackpots could see you rolling in the millions this Tuesday. Don't miss out. Play Powerball for an estimated 21 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 41 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Dear Journal, trying to be an adult, day 3,274. Every time I go to a fancy birthday dinner, I'm reminded I'm just 5 fancy birthday dinners away from financial ruin. Note to self, don't make any more born in June friends.
Recently removed from the family payroll? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insure Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
This tech feature is brought to you by Nilo, trusted in hosting.
10 minutes to 2 o'clock, time for our tech feature that is brought to you by Nilo, trusted in hosting. And today we're talking about the importance of digital skills development, particularly when it comes to AI. And we're joined by Professor Gayton McKenzie, who is Vice Chancellor at the Vaal University of Technology. Professor, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mabotja.
Professor, in terms of these digital skills and the development, Where would you say, from your observation, we are lacking at the moment as South Africans?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. AI is the buzzword nowadays. Machine learning is another, in a sense that somewhere along the line, we have provided knowledge that today requires additional skills, especially digital skills. Of course, now and then people will have provided sort of your basic skills, the use of a laptop, use of Microsoft Word, the use of Excel, and so on. But nowadays, we also have high-level skills that require actually people to have analytical skills, the use of the technologies that go with that. So it is important as a country that we aggravate towards better understanding of how these skills are important and how they more or less shape the way we do things in the future.
Okay, so I mean, we've touched on, for example, your Microsoft and some of these productivity tools that we've had for a long time. Where would you share that maybe we need to start looking at developing our digital skills, irrespective of the industry that you are in or going into?
Let me give an example, which I know I use quite a lot, is that when I was doing my research at honors level, I had to write the full, call it a full formula of calculating a chi-square or a t-test and so on. But today, I don't need to do that, but I do need to know what is a t-test for or when is it used, because I could then enter my data into a software package that's going to generate the results that I'm looking for without me having to actually write the formula. What it does is it actually cuts short the time it takes to analyze data, but also to provide results on a specific aspects. So even our students, that's what we're doing nowadays, is to make sure that when they finish their qualifications, they have these additional skills that they need to have. We are, of course, as part of our recalculation program, trying to make sure they don't have to do these skills as an add-on, but they become part and parcel of their program.
Okay, so when we look then at AI education in South Africa, do you think we have enough skills for the teaching part while we're still transitioning into this part of technology?
It is true. We don't have enough. We're still lacking from the teaching side. But in as much as we are lacking, I mean, we have people that we constantly ensure that they upgrade their skills in this area so that at least in terms of the teaching environment, we're able to close the gaps. We are correct to say there are still a need for more people to be developed.
So what will it take then for us to get to the stage where we have people who are trained to help with all of this AI digital skills development, especially because I look at some of the people around me and a lot of them are just using online courses and teaching themselves?
Yes. Look, I mean, remember, technology evolves. So as we learn the current technologies, new ones are being developed. If you think about where we come from, robotics, now machine learning and AI means that somewhere along the line, there's going to be something new coming. So in as much as we're trying to catch up, the gap will always be there, in a sense that we have to always adapt to new technologies now and then. So I'm not sure that we're going to completely, be able to close the gaps because of the constant changes coming up now and then. As you say, I mean, AI, we're still grappling with it, but at least we now have tools that enable us to integrate what we know as people, but also what is available out there and be able to harvest that information for use in the future. So now and then we will find ourselves slightly lagging behind because of the changes in technology.
If we look at schools, universities, TVET, colleges, what are the roles that they can play in the space?
There's a lot they can do, especially when it comes to teachers in schools. Maybe, put it this way, we as universities need not just to look at ourselves as universities, but look at how do we empower schools? How do we ensure that their teachers are prepared to be able to pass on these teacher skills? Because as they come to universities, it would be better that the learners coming to university are already equipped with these skills, so we don't have to start afresh and teach them. So it is important that the schools have the right teachers, and if not, how then do we empower those teachers to be able to do so?
These are very, very good questions for us to be asking, and hopefully we can find the solution soon. Professor Kehla Ndlovu, thank you so much for your time. At Ex-Nihilo, they know that every big idea needs the right foundation, from web hosting, high-performance self-managed servers, and cloud hosting. They're here to help you grow with the reliability you need and service you can trust. Because when your foundation is strong, your vision can go further. Big ideas need strong foundations. Build yours with Ex-Nihilo.
Johannesburg, the Tribute to Women show is here. Join us on the 24th of August at Marks Park in Emerentia as we honor 31 years of democracy and the incredible contributions of women in South Africa. Featuring an all-star lineup, Keisha White, Ami Faku, Thandiswa Mazwai, Loyiso, and more. Get your tickets now at webtickets.co.za. The Tribute to Women show, proudly presented by Shia Entertainment.
Before the city wakes up, they're baking fresh bread, golden pastries, and treats you cannot resist. Your bakery or deli knows your favorites and serves them with a smile. Now's your chance to say, I see you. Vote for your pick in Gauteng's greatest bakery deli category now at primemediaplus.com. Voting closes on the 27th of August. Make it count, because Gauteng isn't just the hub of business, it's the home of excellence. And excellence deserves your applause. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
Year in, year out, we're fixing tires faster than a Formula One pit crew. My team is on top of things like tire whisperers. If an unforeseen accident were to happen in my workshop, at least I've got My Way business insurance to keep the wheels turning.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
The 12th edition of the DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, is here. Experience unbeatable vibes this Heritage Weekend at the Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit on the 20th and 21st of September. On Saturday the 20th, catch Don Toliver Cuesta, Inkabi Zezwe, and more. Then on Sunday the 21st, don't miss the iconic Lauryn Hill on her 25th anniversary tour with special guests Wyclef Jean, YG Mali, and Zion Mali, with Lira, Mandisi Diantis, and Zoe Mudicha also performing on the Sunday. Tickets at Ticketmaster. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star and proudly supported by 702. It's 2 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Taxi Association Santaco says it is adopting a zero-tolerance approach to violence involving its members. Its president, Motlhabane Tsebe, says from now on, members found to be guilty of any violence will be expelled. He was speaking at a media briefing in Johannesburg today to address their issues and the allegations of the war with e-hailing drivers. This comes after 2 e-hailing vehicles were shot at and torched outside outside Mabotja Mall last week in Soweto, leaving one driver dead and 2 other people injured. Relebogile Mabotja reports.
Santaco President Matlobane Tsebe began by asking the public to forgive the taxi industry for its reputation of having violent members responsible for crimes including shootings, intimidation and assault. Despite this, he distanced his members for being responsible for the Mabotja Mall Act, where a driver was brutally killed. He says now allegations of any crimes conducted by Santaco members need to be reported so the expulsions can begin, along with police investigations. Tsebe says he is confident that now his house will be in order.
We condemn this violence in the strongest possible terms. It is inhuman, it is criminal, and it is unacceptable. We are saying zero tolerance for violence, as much as we've said GBV, but we cannot be coming with another direction of a pandemic that is troubling our nation for the whole of this.
He says he wants to restore the public's trust. Relebogile Mabotja, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
Sentencing in the case of 25-year-old P Simo, who pleaded guilty to killing 6-year-old Amantle Samane, has been postponed to the 1st of September. The Johannesburg High Court heard final arguments today, with the defence insisting he is remorseful and the state calling for a tougher sentence. Mongezi Gogo has more.
The defence told the court Simo's guilty plea and cooperation showed remorse and did not oppose the state's submissions. Prosecutors, however, argued the crime was cruel, deliberate and had devastating consequences for the family. Amantle's mother, Ntombi Samane, was visibly emotional as she took the stand to give a victim impact statement detailing the family's anguish and loss. The judge said the court would weigh up both the mitigating and aggravating factors before handing down sentence.
Accordingly, the matter is postponed to Monday, the 1st of September 2025 for the imposition of sentence. He is to remain in custody.
The matter has been postponed to the 1st of September for sentencing. Mongezi Gogo, Eyewitness News.
Let's stay in the courts. The 3 men accused of killing former IFP Member of Parliament, Ketamabala Sithole, says they all intend to plead not guilty. The Palm Ridge Magistrates Court is currently hearing the trio's bail applications. Ketamabala was shot and killed on the 31st of May at the Buyafuti hostel in Katlehong. 2 other IFP members were also shot at, but they survived that incident. Tabiso Koba has more.
Ketokuhla Sithole, Ntando Ximba and Khululi Sithole each face a count of murder, 2 of attempted murder and 1 each of possessing an unlicensed firearm and ammunition. The 3 men say the state's case is weak as none of them were in close proximity to the victims on the day of the incident. In their affidavit, all 3 say when they were arrested, police searched their properties and did not find the murder weapon. Accused number 1, Ketok Tula, says police found his licensed gun and 3 magazines at his house. Ketok Tula submitted a copy of the documents for the gun and magazines to court. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News, Palm Ridge.
The Gauteng Education Department has taken steps to enhance security around 2 schools in Relebogile in the west of Johannesburg. This after the principal of Hoërskool Relebogile sustained a stab wound on the hand while trying to de-escalate some clashes. A fight broke out between learners from Westridge High School and Hoërskool Relebogile on Friday last week. The brawl was recorded and widely circulated on social media. The situation then escalated yesterday when a group from Westridge High, allegedly seeking revenge, went to Hoërskool Relebogile where they apparently attacked learners and pelted cars with stones. Gauteng Education spokesperson Steve Mabona.
About 6 grade 12 boy learners from Westridge High have been identified and will be today suspended for 7 days pending their appearance in the disciplinary process. And further suspensions may be effected as the verification process continues.
And in the U.S., forecasters have warned of possible flooding on the East Coast caused by Hurricane Erin. The warning comes as the Category 3 storm is expected to grow in size as it moves northwards in the western Atlantic Ocean. The center of the storm is predicted to pass to the east of the Bahamas today. From tomorrow, it is forecast to move north between Bermuda as well as the U.S. East Coast. Authorities have ordered a mandatory evacuation of some islands, warning that roads could be flooded, making it impossible to move around. Gold is trading at $3,338.04 an ounce. The rand is at 17.62 to the dollar, 23.82 to the pound, 20.58 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $66.20 a barrel.
In Devland, heading towards Eldorado Park, we still have those roadworks causing heavy delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Randburg at Malibunga Drive and Mahogany, as well as in Alex at Marlborough Drive and Far East Bank.
The top story in EWN, Taxi Association Santaco says it is adopting a zero-tolerance approach to violence involving its members.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Show up for the finalist who showed up for you. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Vote for your favorite local business now on primediaplus.com.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. And we are going to be jumping into our series edition on hashtag Fem Effect with Femagene. And we'll be chatting to Fifi Peters. So excited for this one. Senior anchor at CNBC Africa and host at SAFM of Market Update. And then we have our car feature. And we will be talking balloon payments. There's always an argument around whether you should or should not do balloon payments. We'll be joined by Sumari Graber, co-founder of Naked Sure Insurance, to talk about that, whether it's stretching your budget or setting a debt trap. So get in touch with us. Give us a call. 011-883-0702. SMS us 31702. Tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702, using the hashtag 702 Afternoons. And the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702.
702.
Series Edition.
The Fem Effect Series Edition with me, Relebogile Mabotja, is brought to you by Femagene. Choose care that empowers. Choose Femagene, care for all the woman you are every day. Now, Fifi Peters is an award-winning financial journalist, respected broadcaster, and a powerful voice in the world of economics and media. And as a senior anchor at CNBC Africa and host of SAFM's Market Update, she's built a reputation for breaking down complex market trends and guiding conversations on global and local stages, from the World Economic Forum to South African households. Passionate about amplifying women's voices in spaces where decisions are made, Fifi's journey reflects confidence, resilience, and purpose. As part of Femagene's hashtag Fem Effect campaign, she joins us to talk about what it means to own your power as a woman in your career, in your community, and in your personal life right here on 702. And I'm so excited. Fifi, welcome. Thank you for coming through.
It's such an honor to be here. Thanks for the invite.
You guys have to tune in to our live stream on YouTube to see how gorgeous she is in person. It's not just the TV facades, but you guys can head over to the 702 channel on YouTube. Fifi, I get so excited meeting women who are also passionate about empowering other women and are really committed to seeing women in spaces where decisions are made. What was the fire that burnt, or who lit the fire in you for you to feel that way?
Sure. I think before we begin, just given the fact that we're talking about owning power as a woman and as an individual, I suppose, I think part of that also involves owning mistakes. So I made a mistake in not updating my bio for you guys. And lest I get any sort of hate mail or any calls.
You need to
from
make
the
a correction.
Yes,
Okay,
from the
let's
current
make
host
a
of the
correction.
SAFM Market Update, Jimmy Moyaha.
Thank you.
Yes, I was former, and it was a wonderful time. And in fact, it kind
Oh.
of feels like deja vu being back in the studio.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's the point of departure. But just going back.
Thank you. So former host of SAFM Market Update. Who's the
Please.
current host?
Jimmy Moyaha.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, we've clarified. We've
Please,
clarified.
and apologies for not updating my bio
No problem, no problem. Okay, so who lit that fire in you?
I guess it has to be all the women who pulled me up as well in my climb up as a journalist, a financial journalist in this country. It is quite daunting and at the same time surprising to see that I actually stuck it out in the industry, and it's been around 15 years.
And a tough industry it is.
Incredibly tough. And to the point that you are making, to say that in most of these industries that we talk about, female representation is still not at the levels as it should be. And I was very fortunate to have been lifted, not necessarily only by the female journalists in the industry, but a lot of the female CEOs that I got to speak with. They just provided a wonderful comfort ground. But I do need to give a big shout out to one of my mentors in the industry. In fact, a lady that I regard one of the best in financial journalism, not only in South Africa, the African continent, and even in the world, Miss Bronwyn Nielsen, who was very supportive of my climb up and my learnings. Look, there's been a host of others, but she's a lady I continue to bug and call to this day in terms of trying to be better. So by virtue of a sort of a what do you call it? They say pay it forward and lift as you rise. So by virtue of that behavior having been shown to me, it's only right and the responsible thing to do to when it is possible to do the same to other young journalists. So I generally tend to keep it within the ecosystem of where I work. So there's a couple of young ladies at CNBC Africa that I like to give advice now and then when they ask. But
you're a big sister to them.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
and I'm so glad you say that, because I know that there is a perception that women don't like each other, and I am the product of other women seeing something in me for me to get to the spaces that I've gotten to, like behind the scenes, even for me to remotely have gotten to be a producer.
Sure.
It's because there were other women who would take the time to say, okay, now I need to teach you how to do a budget and how to cost report.
Yeah.
And I know you're a creative, but you really need to learn this thing.
Yeah.
And we don't highlight those stories enough of how behind the scenes there are those big sisters that we get to phone and say, hey, can you just help me? I'm confused about this clause in my contract. Or they recommend you when you're not in, like, they speak your name and praise you in your absence.
No, absolutely. And that's when you know that someone really has your back, when you are spoken about in rooms where you were not present, but your name was dropped. And again, just referencing the lady who does and has done that for me in the past, Bronwyn Nielsen. But to the point that you make in terms of this narrative that women don't like each other, I have seen it and I've heard it, and I mean, just within the media space, I'm not going to say you get to experience it a lot of the time. What I would like to say, or how I twist it, is that insecure people don't like other people who are ambitious and perhaps who are trying to succeed. Because what I found is that the women and men who are quite comfortable within their space have no problem opening up the window, even opening up the frame for others to come in. So it's around insecurity, and I suppose to those people who shut the doors on others, work on yourself and perhaps believe in yourself, because the reason why people are trying to come through is because they are inspired by you. And I've got this belief belief that when people do want to come and move into your circle, into your realm, it's just a signal, a live signal that it's time to make that circle a little bit bigger, and it's also time for you to move on to another realm. So don't be insecure. In my view, probably harder to practice than it is to say, but I suppose it's about at least trying to do so.
What does owning your power mean to you? Because I think it can be interpreted in so many ways, and I sometimes feel for many people, before they even own their power, they still need to find their power and bring it out.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you, because I think that I'm in the exact same space right now. I mean, you talk about power, I'm like, whoa, a big word, a little bit daunting there.
Yes.
But I think perhaps being comfortable with the influence that you may or may not have in certain individuals means acceptance of self. I think it means authenticity. And I think it means just doing your best, but remaining grounded throughout the process. I've found in my line of work, and I've gotten to speak to some of the most really big people, all over the world. And what strikes me about the truly accomplished is how humble they are. Look, it could be a facade. We all have masks on most of the time. But what I have found is, power and owning whatever form of power you identify with, it definitely means embracing humility as well, in my view.
How has self-care played a role in you really being able to master and juggle the many hats that you wear, from broadcaster, economist, journalist, moderator? You also play a role, being a daughter, being all of the things that you are in your life. Where does self-care fit in keeping the machine of Fifi rolling?
Sure. A daughter and an aunt. I mean, my niece has just qualified for the Golden Key Society, a really smart cookie. And she just sent me a message to say, when are you coming to visit me? I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, yes, I did promise I'll come and visit you. But self-care, I suppose, it speaks to wellness all around, right? Taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, and taking care of your spirit. I mean, Relebogile, you'll probably maybe be able to identify just maybe 10 years ago, one could easily get away with just 5 hours or 4 hours of sleep and know that you could just get up the next day and go on with the same energy.
I used to cheat that, what do you call, I'll catch it up later, until a doctor's like, there's no such thing.
Absolutely.
Once you've missed the window, there's no catching up.
Absolutely. And also with age, it becomes a little bit complicated. So self-care right now, I realize that the real 9-to-5 shift that many of us should be doing, in fact, most of us should be doing, is sleep. Like that 8 hours of sleep is such an important part of self-care because of what it does to the mind and the brain and how it energizes it, it reinvigorates it, as it were. I know it's not always possible. I mean, just given the line of work, but self-care definitely means getting enough rest. Self-care for me means getting as much physical exercise as is possible. I'm very passionate about exercise because if I don't, I'm a danger to the world. It helps me maintain a form of peace and a form of mental imbalance, and I do truly believe it's one of the best forms of therapy there is. It means eating well as much as you can, as when is possible, and it means reading. I mean, I know a lot of people pursue alternative or further education outside of, or when they become employees, as it were. People do MBAs and PhDs and all of that, but I've also come to realize that quite a lot of knowledge out there that can also help in uplifting, in making one a better human being, as it were, is available in the books that are available out there. And I suppose just in closing, self-care means just patience with self as well. Yeah, patience with self.
And I also feel like it really is a daily practice, as opposed to it being this self-care Sunday thing that you're like, okay, you go to the spa, you get the cucumbers on your eye, you take the picture, where self-care is performative as opposed to just being a part of your day-to-day life.
Yeah, 100%, and it's a work in progress, right? I mean, one of the books that I recently read, a popular book by most people, the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma, and one of the things that he advocates when you talk about cucumbers in your eyes and going to the spa and all of that, there's a section in the book that speaks to the importance of doing that, but the importance of doing that, quite frequently. He talks about a massage twice a week, as it were. Now, for most people, you'd think, my goodness, a massage twice a week, that's not feasible.
That's heavenly. Sounds heavenly.
It's not affordable. It's not all of that. But it goes to, and it speaks to the importance of doing those activities that rejuvenate you as a human being and that make you more harmonized and that make you, or that enable you essentially to show up to the world a better human being as and when is possible.
I have to just pause to read this beautiful message that came through. It says, Fifi is a steering. I listened to her before our show, Top Sport. She's money. Fifi is what she is. I learned so much from when she did the Money Web before Jimmy. I miss her voice. She is money and it's not signed.
My goodness. I am money. I receive, I suppose.
I am money. This is my new thing, right? We're just going to partly manifest and say those things. Do you practice daily affirmations or weekly affirmations? And what are some of them? And I know that sometimes they seem fluffy, but we don't realize in the long term how that contributes to our overall well-being and just attitude to life.
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, it also speaks to working on the mindset and trying to make the mindset as positive as possible when is possible. You know, we are not perfect as human beings, but all we can do is try. I remember growing up in the car, my father would always make us rehearse one affirmation in terms of, every day in every way, it's getting better and better. And every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And it just spoke to it spoke to the little steps that one takes in terms of progress, because this wonderful caller is talking about money and success and all of that. But of course, anyone who is embarking on that path will know that it is a path of a whole lot of steps, little steps along the way in order to get to a point and continue trying to get to the higher level of points. But also, Relebogile, what I do lately is I like to jot down stuff that comes to me in terms of improving that part of me at a particular point in time. For instance, just a couple of days ago, I told myself, and I wrote in my diary, that I need to stop needing and start doing. We always say, I need to do this, and you get through the day and you realize you haven't done it. So
it's the same as my therapist used to say to me, don't say I'm trying. Because when you say I'm going to try get off the bed, you won't get off the bed or get out the bed. You must just get out the bed. Stop saying trying.
Listen, just do it. #Nike,
Yes.
know. And so yeah, that's just, and it's all in pursuit, as I say, of just trying to do the little things every day that will make one better and better.
Femagene believes that confidence starts with care. So what does confidence look like to you, especially when you compare it to the Fifi earlier in your career, the Fifi, the teenager,
sure,
compared to the Fifi sitting in front of me today?
Sure. It's probably a repetition of what I said a little bit earlier, but confidence is definitely acceptance of oneself. There are things that we like about ourselves, and there are things that we don't like about ourselves. Yep. And I think that as difficult as some things might be, the areas or the things that you don't like about yourself in which you're able to improve, I believe that you should do your best to try and improve on those areas. And that's individual for whoever, it's for a respective person. What I don't like about myself might be different from what others and so forth. But if I'm in a position whereby I can make it better, then I will try. but holistically, the things that are just me, genetically wired me, given by a God, made by God, it might not necessarily subscribe to what the stereotype of what is in right now by society, but the confidence is definitely acceptance of oneself as one is, with one's flaws and all. I like to talk about being perfectly imperfect because, if we still believe that perfection exists, then I think we are living in the Wizard of Oz. But yeah.
And even there were mishaps. They were not perfect. But in terms then of the hashtag Femeffect, which is really about how one woman's care for herself actually can uplift others. What does that mean to you in the context of mentorship and community?
No, absolutely. For instance, I'll even dial it back to my mother, and she is such a dainty, lady. Just recently turned 70, but the manner in which she looks after herself, she'll say, even when she's going to the gym, she says, "Oh, you have to wear a lipstick when you go. You can't leave the house without a lipstick." And
I love it for her. Go to the gym with the lipstick. I love it for her.
And so I'm surrounded by a woman from, my cousin Kiwi as well, who just have the most exemplary care for themselves. And what that does is that when you see another lady, putting on their best and looking their best and, trying to be their best, it does inspire greatness in you as well. And so for me, if I just relate it back to that hashtag in terms of confidence and the perhaps maybe the spillover effect on others, it's just that when you shine, automatically you inspire those who are within your circumference to aspire to shine. Hopefully those that want to dim your shine, you quickly cut them out of your circle. But certainly it's when you let your light glow, you inspire and you allow those around you to also do the same. And I think that's one of the famous quotes by former President Nelson Mandela. I know I've rephrased it a lot,
yes,
but I think we all understand the meaning.
If a woman is listening and she's going through a process of starting over, which is one of the most difficult things that a woman can do. It could be changing careers. It could be leaving a toxic friendship. It could be being done in their marriage. It could be coming out of postpartum depression. Whatever it is they're going through, what advice would you give to a woman who is going through some major life shift and maybe things look bleak and unsure?
Yeah. Wow, quite a big one.
Yes, and I think it's because we've all been there in certain ways or another,
yeah.
And we usually only really know when we're on the other side. But when you're in the middle of it all, it becomes so tough, and maybe it's even advice around going through a transition.
Sure. You see, so I think. If I can just relate it to myself in terms of the pandemic that hit most of us, it hit our incomes. It hit our confidence. Most of us didn't know whether we were coming or going, and COVID perhaps presented a restarting point for quite a lot of us. That was my aha moment to also recognize that, I wasn't okay. And so when you talk about starting over, I have to advocate for therapy. I'm in no position right now to advise people on, what to do, particularly in one of the most toughest times, because coping mechanisms are not the same for all of us. But I do recognize the importance of therapy, and I continue to see my therapist even today. Obviously, I do understand that cost can sometimes also be difficult, and some people will say, I cannot afford therapy, so what do I do if I'm starting over and all of that?
Luckily, there are free places that you can go to and regularly share, so it is available to everybody.
This is true, and thanks for that. But I think that I'll draw back again to one of the things that my mother likes to say, because she is quite a big inspiration in my life. I live with her. Almost 40 and living with my mom. We were even joking to say we were going to be like Queen Elizabeth and her mom.
I love that.
But what she likes to say is, as long as there's life, there is hope. And as bleak as the situation is, and she draws from her own experience, that wasn't always easy, to say that as long as you have life, there is hope. And if one is just patient with themselves for the change will come. But if one also puts in the effort, I mean, you're talking about a lady or a woman who's starting again, maybe coming out, going back into the workplace and all of that. If you're patient with yourself, if you put in the work to develop yourself, eventually that corner will turn. And as the most people do like to say, I mean, success happens when the opportunity and preparation come together. So do the work, believe in yourself, be patient, take it one day at a time, have a support circle, seek counsel, seek therapy, those tools where you need. Actually, I believe everyone needs. Apparently, Oprah has quite a number of therapists and all of that around her. But as long as there's life, there is hope, and keep on keeping on. There's actually an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur who I just want to get her name. If you just allow me while I share this quote that she recently shared, which inspired quite a number of people in the room, as well as myself. Asanda Makabuka. She always says that I say her name wrong, and she's the CEO of a chicken bar. And she says that you did not come this far to get this far. And, on the other side of that coin, it's that keep on keeping on. So to those people who are starting again, I say, you did not come this far to get this far.
Keep on keeping on. Fifi Peters, thank you so much for your time. Now, being a woman means showing up through every high and low and still finding your strength. Femagene supports that with pH-balanced intimate washes and wipes designed for your body's everyday comfort and care. And through the hashtag FemEffect, every product helps provide a menstrual cup to a woman who needs one, along with education and support. It's about care that starts with you and reaches someone else too. Because when women support each other, confidence becomes a movement. That's the Femagene hashtag FemEffect. It's just after 2:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. A very good afternoon. Taxi Association Santaco says it is adopting a zero-tolerance approach to violence involving its members. Its president, Motlhabane Tsebe, says from now on, members found guilty of any violence will be expelled from the association. He was speaking at a media briefing in Johannesburg today to address issues and the allegations of the war with e-hailing drivers. The city of Johannesburg has denied suggestions that its bid to improve service delivery is driven by the upcoming G20 summit, which will take place in the metro. The city has launched what it terms an accelerated service delivery program aimed at improving cleanliness and maintenance across the city before November. The program is targeting Sandton today, where teams are repairing roads, street lights and other municipal services. And nearly 400 people have been killed in torrential monsoon rains in Pakistan. A changing climate has made residents of northern Pakistan more vulnerable to sudden heavy rains. The National Disaster Management Authority says 356 people were killed in a single region, an area bordering Afghanistan. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, in Sandton, if you are heading towards the M1, there's slow-moving traffic. This is due to faulty traffic lights on Greyston Drive between Rivonia Road and Catherine Street. There's also slow-moving traffic. That's in the Devland area due to roadworks on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Also, bumper-to-bumper traffic. That's in the Protea Glen area on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Edenville, Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeck, as well as in Midrand at Olifantsfontein Road and the N1. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
Hi, this is Craig from Kempton Park. What an amazing experience, I must say, especially visiting, people behind the scenes. There's a lot of amazing people that we don't know about behind the scenes that's working very hard to serve you, the listener. Very, very impressed with everything that's going on. Fantastic studios, very professional setup, trendy, vibey. It epitomizes everything that this radio station does, and definitely it is the radio station for the people.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
So we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 Listens.
Let's walk the talk.
62 million rand in total estimated Powerball and Powerball Plus jackpots could see you rolling in the millions this Tuesday. Don't miss out. Play Powerball for an estimated 21 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 41 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial star 120 star 7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba's the proud operator of the National Lottery.
There's a song that goes, "Money can't buy me love." And that's true. But then they told us all you need is love, which anybody with a mortgage will tell you most certainly is not true. Love won't pay your parking tickets or your student loan. It's also needy. It requires effort, availability, constant care. But more importantly, love requires time. And while money can't buy you love, it can certainly free up some of your time. Time to spend on the things you love, with the people you love. And if you're looking, maybe even time to find the one you love. That's why, after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time to do the things you love. And don't you love that about investing? Ellen Gray, long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
It's that time of the year. Sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, blocked noses and coughs. It's time to live, work, play and sleep allergy-free. For trusted relief for you and your family this allergy season, ask your pharmacist for the Adcock Ingram OTC Allergy Survival Pack. With products like Allergex Non-Drowsy, Cetisit, Levogex and more, we have you covered. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC. And visit beprepared365.co.za.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
How worried are you about the U.S. investigations into MTN in Afghanistan and sort of Iran?
What we announced to the market is that we've received a request for information from the Department of Justice. We're voluntarily cooperating with them. They have not accused us of any wrongdoing. And we felt that, because of the position that we hold, we would engage them, and we've engaged also with the SA authorities.
Ralph Mapita, the Group CEO at MTN.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, backing the Ideas Fund by advancing capital to African infrastructure investment managers. Your story matters. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Coming up
on 702 Drive.
22 minutes to 3 o'clock. Tabo joins us in studio to tell us what's coming up on 702 Drive from 3 to 6 p.m.
Hello.
Do people know that you've got dimples?
Do I even know that I've got dimples? I didn't know. So nice. It sounds so nice.
I just noticed now when you saw, I'm like, how? It's because you never smile at us, so we didn't know. That
segues beautifully in one of the topics that we'll be talking about.
Yes.
Is it appropriate to compliment a stranger?
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends the context.
Yeah.
Like, don't be creepy about it. Because I see a woman who's beautiful or a guy who's dressed well, be like, love your outfit.
Yeah.
That is so dope, know, as opposed to like, I love your outfit. Yeah, girl. Hello, nice. I like your outfit. Nice. So it depends the context, because I love complimenting people where sometimes you're like, girl, that lipstick looks so good on you. Yo, like, I love hyping people up because I know what it feels like where maybe you put your outfit together or you're like, who, we'll be like, my guy, whatever you're doing with your dreadlocks, keep doing it. So I love complimenting.
More honest when it comes from a stranger. Because they owe you nothing.
Right.
They could have literally walked on by, but they decided to stop and compliment you. So there's some value in that.
When I was in France, in Paris.
Wow. When are we going? When I was in France.
So, I mean, I was generally looking semi-hobo like when I was missioning because Opalamadi BSA and everything. And then there was a day we went to this it's a very architectural museum type of space that has gardens. So I quickly hid behind the columns to take pictures, and I put on red lipstick. So I'm standing there and I'm posing, and 3 people were like, "Oh, madame,
really?
Statue de Liberté," because I was posing with arms up, and they're like, "Oh, so beautiful."
Oh, very nice. Which museum was that?
So,
Louvre.
No, it wasn't the Louvre.
Yeah.
It's this I must just get the name.
Really.
But I was posing my behind off there, saying these curves are going to be seen in Paris. And the way it boosted my confidence, suddenly I was like, the posture changed. So I love complimenting where you're like, girl, your outfit is so fly. Like, you're my guy, those kicks. You must do it. Just don't be a creep about it. Don't be like, yes. I like it. Oh my size.
You know what? Any of that. You must call in the show. You must call in. We'll be chatting about that a little bit later on. But before that, we will be touching on a very interesting Concord case that is being heard currently. And the Competition Commission, they are bidding to overturn a court ruling clearing major banks of wrongdoing in a decade-long rand manipulation. You'd remember that this case has been going on for quite some time, and now they're debating jurisdiction. Major banks, international and local banks, have been accused of that, and that's underway. We will dive a little bit deeper into it because the colluding it was about colluding on the USD and the South African currency pair by fixing bids. So we'll touch on that on the show a little bit later on. Equally so, coming up, the Trump-Zelensky meeting, as they were flanked by various European leaders as well. And it appeared as though the meeting was a little bit successful. Trump was a little bit non-committal. We'll do some analysis and speak to experts on that one. The Esidimeni tragedy, you'll remember it very well. It looks like we are moving on to some serious issues. We have a little bird that whispered to us that the NPA may have received recommendations to prosecute the former MEC, Gayton McKenzie, and with culpable homicide, but things are still in the background as far as that is concerned. If you live in and around Sandton, you'd know that there was a water issue from yesterday, and I suppose up to now some residents of Sandton battling with water will want to catch up with the authorities. We're trying to get hold of them to give us an update on that one. And of course, a little bit later on, Relebogile, as we've said, on a lighter note, we would like to know, when you see someone looking good at a store, in a mall, walking around, how do you compliment them? Is it okay to compliment a stranger? And how do you do it if it's okay to do so?
You have to start with
Well,
Zeno's on the WhatsApp line says, Relebogile, I wouldn't be surprised if I hear some of the callers saying they love your creepy voice. You have to start with before, and then you say, so
It's a bit creepy.
Tabo Sholemashao coming through on 702 Drive from 3 to 6 p.m.
702.
The car feature.
Car feature time on 702 afternoons. And today we're talking about balloon payments. Is this a debt trap? Or is it something that can help you out because you really need that car? 011 883 0702 in the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We are joined by Sumari Graber, co-founder at Naked Insurance. Sumari, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's absolutely great to be here and to talk about balloon payments.
Yes, and we need the lowdown, because half of the time when balloon payments become a topic of conversation, it's because a person kind of forgot and then it catches them by surprise. And the way I look at balloon payments is you're paying the deposit, but at the end.
I actually fully agree with you. And I think the question you always have to ask, if you didn't have the deposit available when you actually started the car loan, what is going to change to make sure you have that deposit available at the end of the car loan? Yeah, and I think that's the question you have to ask before you decide to go for that balloon payment, and whether it is actually something that is suitable for you in your circumstances.
So let's then get to the basics of what balloon payments are and why they even came to be a thing. And like, when was it a thing to say, actually, let's add this massive payment right at the end? And I'm assuming because when the economy started getting really bad, that we had to create different ways for people to be able to afford things.
Yeah, that is exactly right. We have seen car sales actually reducing over the last couple of years, and I think finance houses had to get a bit more inventive on how to make a car more affordable now. And I also think generally people, especially South Africans, very often like to buy very flashy cars, and maybe cars that are outside of their real affordability range, and therefore a balloon payment becomes very appealing, because you can afford a more expensive car than you actually should be buying.
So when then people find themselves in this situation where they're having to decide if they want a balloon payment or not, what are the questions you think they need to ask themselves? And you touched on the one to say, if you can't afford the deposit now, let's use a round figure and say 50,000 Rand. What would change for you to now afford it after 72 months, which is what, 6 years?
Yeah. So I think the big question you have to ask yourself, are you in a situation where your income and your ability to save is going to change dramatically over that 60-month or 72-month period? And I think for me, if the answer to that is no, it becomes quite doubtful whether you should go for it. I mean, there's other things that come into play here as well. For example, if you are purchasing the vehicle in the name of your business, and there's tax advantages and things that you can actually offset against it to help you save for that balloon payment, that might make sense. I think one of the big other risks is if you have to exit the loan early and that balloon payment falls due quicker than you think it will be, that's a risk. But if you are 100% sure that you're going to stick with your loan for the whole term, I think it's also a little bit more palatable to look at that balloon payment. And I think the last one, and I think for me this is the least convincing one, but maybe there is something to that, where I've heard people speak about the fact that, they would rather buy the slightly more expensive new car where they are on a service plan and they can budget much better and then save that extra money for the balloon payment than buying the cheaper second-hand vehicle where they actually don't know what the maintenance cost on it's going to be. And then they opt for the balloon payment to rather go for the more known factor of a new vehicle and what those costs will be.
All right, we need to take a break. When we come back, we continue talking about balloon payments. Get your questions in 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
And there you go, your favorite latte, hot and ready. You never disappoint. Listen, did you see that email? God, it's going down. Let's catch up later. Got another Zoom meeting. Oh, okay, cool. Later.
Meet our audience. They are working, living their lives, sharing stories, and always listening. So if you're going to interrupt them, it better be good. Prime Media Broadcasting Sales. We help you connect with every productive, innovative, and dynamic individual in our audience. From the open plan office to the executive suite. Contact us at advertise@primemedia.co.za today.
Don't miss the magical sounds of the Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra's Symphony Season Concert under the baton of May Ann Chen and featuring acclaimed pianist Kiego Mukawa. The program includes Saint-Saëns Piano Concerto No. 5, Schumann's Symphony No. 4, and more. Thursday, the 21st of August at 7:30 p.m. at the Linda Auditorium. Book your tickets at Quicket to avoid disappointment.
It all starts with FNB Private. Diversify your portfolio to grow your wealth. Gain global exposure through shares or unit trusts on the FNB app. Tap into international investments and tax-efficient offshore trusts to build your legacy. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSB and credit provider. FNB International Trustees, FNB IT registration number 3080. Licensed by the Guernsey Financial Services Commission to conduct fiduciary business. T's and C's apply.
702.
The car feature.
9 minutes to 3 o'clock. We continue with the car feature on 702 afternoons. And we are talking about balloon payments together with Sumari Graber, co-founder at Naked Insurance. Get your questions in 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Sumari, just in terms of the balloon payment, I see that there are some people who, when it gets time to reach the balloon payment and maybe they forgot about it, then they're offered refinancing. What does that mean?
So refinancing can be available if you get to the end of the term and say you have to make a 200,000 Rand balloon payment, which is very possible on an expensive vehicle. You can then, if your credit rating is good enough, you can actually apply then at the bank to give you a loan for that 200,000. And that then means that you will pay that off over time. But then, of course, you are going to be incurring additional interest, additional monthly payments that you will continue to make for an extended period of time. But that is what it means with actually refinancing that balloon payment.
Didn't the balloon payment already have interest on it, meaning that you refinancing, you're doing interest on top of interest?
So the balloon payment itself, so how the interest normally work is when your monthly payments are worked out, they take the full loan amount that they've given you. So say, for example, you have bought a vehicle that is worth 1 million Rand and you took a 20% balloon payment. They're not going to work out your monthly interest payment on your car loan repayment on 800,000. They're going to work it out on 1 million. So you pay that interest on that 200,000 for the duration of your loan that you had for your car. But when you get to the end of it and you want to refinance, they are reissuing a loan to you for 200,000 for a new period of time, and you will then incur additional interest for that extended period of time because the interest that you've paid only relates to your original loan term on that balloon payment.
All right. Let's go to some of the listeners' questions on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We've got a voice note.
Relebogile, honestly, that balloon payment thing is really a trap, because it honestly means that now you can't afford the car if you are in a balloon payment kind of setup. So for me, if you can't afford it, then you get into the deposit balloon payments kind of thing. Thanks.
Sumari, if a person gets to the end and it's time to pay up the balloon payment, but they can't, what are those risks? What happens if you can't now pay this balloon payment?
So there's a couple of options that are open to you. Of course, you can, at that point, you can sell the car. The issue with that is that you don't own the car outright yet. But the biggest thing that normally happens is, like we said, refinancing. And the worst thing that can happen to you at that point in time is that you basically have to give the car back. Because under the National Credit Act, the bank, if you can't pay the balloon payment and you can't find the money to pay the balloon payment, they can come and repossess your vehicle. as collateral for that balloon payment.
So even though your car might have a value at that time of 100,000 Rand and you owe 50, they can take the car to recover that 50K.
Yes, they can. They can repossess the vehicle.
And there's no part of it that's going to say, here's your change of 50,000 Rand.
If there is, of course, in order to come and repossess the vehicle, to get that vehicle sold, the bank will incur charges. So it's if there is any money left over, yes, you might get some of it back, but it's very unlikely given all the costs that the bank will have to incur to actually recoup their money. And normally it would work the same way as if you default on your house repayment, the bank will sell that house, normally only trying to get back whatever their outstanding amount is. So even if your car is worth 100,000, they'll be very happy to take 50 if that's what they owed, so they can just settle their debt. So under no obligation to sell it for 100 if it's worth 100.
Final thoughts, summary on balloon payments that all of us listeners need to be aware of.
I think a good tip that I would give to people, if you really want to go for that balloon payment, there's a way to do it that's called where you agree with your bank upfront a guaranteed future value for that vehicle, and that you set your balloon payment for that. So if you get to the end of your loan and you don't have the balloon payment, what you can do is you can then just give the car back to the bank and there will be no shortfall, even if the value of your car is then less than what you owe the bank, because they agreed upfront a value of that vehicle. So it does manage that financial risk that you might have of a shortfall that you still have to pay out if the vehicle has depreciated more than what the balloon payment is worth. So that guaranteed future value is what I would have a look at if I really wanted to do a balloon payment.
Thank you so much, Sumari, for chatting to us on today's Car Feature.
When you empower a woman, you empower a whole nation. Women have a remarkable way of multiplying whatever is placed in their hands. This August, we're celebrating Women's Month with the theme Building Resilient Economies for All. We reflect and honor the courageous women of 1956 who took a stand against the injustices of the past. We also recognize and celebrate all South African women who continue to lead, build, and inspire across every part of our society, from business and education to peace building and beyond. Yes, there is still much to be done. The pursuit to achieving total gender equality and empowerment will continue until every woman is able to enjoy the benefits of a safe and just society. #Rekaufela Basadi. #Women's Month 2025. A message by the National Department of Sport, Arts and Culture.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
What is Overtrail? Is it off the beaten path, over the edge of comfort, or the thrill of the road less taken? It's over every bridge, every obstacle, every trail, and over to that view that takes your breath away. Overtrail means going further, exploring deeper, surrounded by the comfort and sophistication of a luxury SUV. It's this spirit that inspired the Overtrail project. Experience Overtrail in the LX and GX range. Lexus. Experience amazing.
Change is an unannounced visitor. It can derail you or delight you. It's pushy, inescapable, intriguing. Change is motivating. Change is action. Change has places for you to be. Change is opportunity. We always have our door open to it. For over 3 decades, we've been committed to seeking out the best investment opportunities for you, wherever they may be. 91. Investing for a world of change. 91 is an authorized FSP.
Relebogile is on X at Relebogile M.
Thank you so much for joining us on 702 Afternoons. We are able to get all of the conversations, play them back, primemediaplus.com, or download the app. Thanks for joining us. It's 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Santaco says a large number of drivers are operating without proper documentation, and Minister Gayton McKenzie refuses to apologize. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Taxi Association Santaco says over 50% of its drivers are without operating licenses in Gauteng. The body says this is causing conflicts and it plans to address the matter with the help of Transport MEC Gidiboni Diale-Tlhabela. Santaco says there is no formalized system to ensure that there is no corruption within the taxi industry. Its leaders held a media briefing today in Johannesburg to address problems that they face. Jabulile Mbata reports.
In response to drivers without operating licenses, Santaco says it has partnered with the Transport MEC Gidiboni Diale-Tlhabela, who has brought industry leaders and built a crisis committee to address this. The committee is said to meet every 2 weeks to evaluate progress. Gauteng Santaco chairperson Midday Mali says what they found is that drivers either duplicate operating licenses or simply use fake ones. He echoed the president's sentiment, saying this resolution will help restore order and ensure drivers are governable.
We are doing the investigations. Why the operating licenses are not issued? Why the operators, some are operating with the fraudulent operating licenses on the ground? Why there is a fraud within the system for applying the operating license.
He added that they also checked that submissions of applications correspond to the associations they belong to. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
At the same time, e-hailing drivers who are marching in central Johannesburg today have given transport officials in Gauteng 7 days to respond to their demands. Today, some e-hailing operators marched to hand over a memorandum to the MEC of Transport as well as provincial legislators.